Thank you for coming to our presentation on captioning, where we ask the question, who needs captions anyway? So we'll be talking about accessibility through captioning. My name is Molly Kropp. I'm a resource teacher with Assistive Technology Services.
And I'm Kate Adams. I'm an itinerant teacher of the deaf and hard of hearing.
So the way this presentation will work today is we're going to give you an introduction on captioning, talk a little bit about what it is and why it's a good idea. We're going to pause and let you think about some of the things that we are talking about, or share with a friend if you're watching it with someone. We're going to share captioning tools that are available within Fairfax County Public Schools and give you some opportunities to practice those. And then at the end, you'll see we have resources for the tools that we've shown you, and we have some references at the end. So the guiding questions that we are sharing with you today, and we hope you can answer by the end of our time together, are: what are captions? Why are they important? Who benefits from captions? When are they required? What tools are available within Fairfax County Public Schools for captioning? How do those tools work? And what resources and references are there for further learning? So here we go. And before we really get into talking about captioning themselves, we wanted to sort of set a framework for today's session. So we want to talk a little bit about the idea of accessible versus assistive. So when we say assistive, for example, assistive technology, which is the primary role of assistive technology services, and also much of what the work is in the deaf and hard of hearing and audiology programs. So assistive refers to something that is individualized for the need of one person or student. It is about need, and it's about what's required, and placing an item or device that improves the functional capabilities. And it is based on the features that are available within that and what is needed by the person. It's a responsive way to meet the needs of our individual students. Accessibility, on the other hand, talks about things that are good for everyone. It's about having choice and flexibility, and it really is about more than technology. It's about building things in a way that is inclusive of all. It really is about the principles of universal design. It is proactive. Accessibility really is about equity, and it's about inclusion. And that's the framework that we're going to use to talk about captioning today. So we'll be talking about it as an accessibility tool more so than an assistive one. Okay, so let's get started talking about our subject today, which is what are captions? So captions are, in the simplest of terms, live, in the moment, visual representation of spoken words that support the understanding of conversational and instructional information. And there's two basic types of captions. There are closed captions, which can be turned on and off, and there are open captions, which are built into a video itself, and they can't be turned off. So I'm going to show you two video clips so that you can see the difference, okay? So this first video here has closed captions, and it's available in a YouTube video. And I'm going to play it so that you can see the captions. And I have the sound off on the video so you can see what the captions say. And it's in YouTube. So you can see over here, I have the subtitles closed caption button. And so if I press that, it turns my captions off. I can press it again to turn the captions on. Okay, as opposed to this video, which I will also play. And you can see this video has captions at the bottom, and these captions are actually built into the video. They cannot be turned on and off. You will see that there's a captioning button here for closed caption, and that's just because this video is presented in YouTube, but the captions on this one are actually built right into the video. And so that is the difference between closed captions and open captions. And which one you use really depends on the needs of your audience, or whether you want to have the user turning the captions on and off or just have them there. So in addition to open and closed captions, there's a few different options for recording live captions. One of those is called Communication Access Real-Time Translation, or CART. And this is captioning where a transcriptionist or stenographer is hired to caption meetings. And they use a stenotype machine to do that. So they're not typing on a regular keyboard. So they're not sort of typing as fast as people can talk. They are using specialized tools to caption the information that's being said. The other tool that is used is automated speech recognition, or ASR. And that is the computer-generated captions. And that's primarily what we're going to be talking about today. So in thinking about what can be captioned, particularly in schools, we know, of course, videos can be captioned. And so either videos that we get and watch from somewhere or that we create and record can be captioned. But you can also use caption in virtual, concurrent, and in-person class meetings. They can be presented on the student's computer, or they can actually be presented via projector for the entire class. This also goes for ceremonies, assemblies, performances, and other school events. So now let's talk about why we caption. So I don't know if you have heard any of these captioning myths, but they're pretty common out there. Some of the things we sometimes hear are captions are distracting to others. Having those words at the bottom of the screen are distracting. In fact, they're not. What's been found through research is that captioning is something that a lot of people use, and that once people get used to them being there, they're really not a distraction. The next one we sometimes hear is captions won't help my student. They can't read, or they can't read fast enough. And while those may be very valid concerns, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later, having captions available provides access, and it also provides exposure to reading. So they do help. It just depends on the student how they help. Another one we hear is captioning is cheating because you have access to the words, therefore it's cheating. It is not. Providing access is never cheating. Captioning doesn't benefit my other students. Hopefully you'll see as we walk through all of the ways that captioning benefits people, you'll see, in fact, it probably does benefit most of your other students. And then another one we hear is, my voice is loud enough. We don't need captions for the whole class. Your voice may in fact be loud or loud enough, but there may still be things that people miss or that could be reinforced with the presentation of the written word with what you're saying. In fact, thinking about the benefits of captioning, we found some great tweets from a website called Accessibility According to People with Disabilities. So I'm just going to read through some of these. And one says, being deaf, gotta say, captioning videos is #1 issue for me. Another one says, I'm hard of hearing, so big pain for me is video with no captions. Tweet or article just says, can you believe he just said this? And no summary. On the bottom left, though, you have one that says, I'd just like to point out that captions are amazing and great for more than just the deaf and hard of hearing community. More videos need captions. And a response that says, I'm autistic, and when I get overloaded, it's harder to process auditory input, especially if the person talking is off screen or something. So now we're just going to want to give you a minute to pause and think about the myths that we talked about, what captioning is, and the benefits that captioning could have for your students. Okay. And now I want to pass the presentation over to my colleague, Kate.
So we're going to go ahead and shift to discussing the benefits of captioning, beginning with accessibility. So captions support deaf and hard of hearing students, students with auditory neuropathy, students presenting with autism, students with ADD or ADHD, new language learners, viewers of presentations potentially in a noisy environment, such as a restaurant or background noise in a house, watching TV with characters who speak quickly or potentially have accents, maybe even you. According to a UK study, 80% of TV viewers use captions for reasons other than their hearing loss. Another benefit of captions is improved literacy. Captions support multimodal exposure to language, visual access to language, comprehension, and literacy. We have a few studies that show that captions benefited literacy for all students, not just students with a hearing loss. Having that visual representation of the written word on the screen benefited all. Captions also benefit students in regards to engagement. They have flexible viewing in sound-sensitive environments. I even like to think about if I'm watching a video, I'm in a restaurant or I have other individuals around me and I don't want to bother them with noise from a video, the captions really improve my engagement with technology. We also talk about the benefits of captions in staying legally compliant. So when we're looking at Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, closed captioning may be required for a child to receive equal access to education, including a free and appropriate public education, or what we refer to as FAPE. Another piece of legal compliance is the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, you might hear. Closed captioning or video transcriptions are required for public entities in both internal and external video communication and in places of public accommodations. And then we also have our Rehabilitation Act. You might hear someone refer to sections 504 or 508. So this demands accessibility for electronic media or IT in federal programs or services. Pre-recorded videos must have captions and an audio description, and live video must be captioned. So we talked a lot about how captions can benefit everyone. Now we really are going to turn and shift to look at when are captions required in school. And so when we're looking at this, we think about anytime they're needed to provide FAPE, so free appropriate public education under IDEA, ADA, or Section 504. We also look for required captions if a student or a staff member cannot fully access spoken language without visual support. And when a student is literate and can access captions at the level and speed that they're presented. We've linked here captioning and transcribing readiness checklist provided by Virginia Department of Education to help you decide, is your student ready to access live captions? And as important as it is for Captions for All, this checklist will help to just identify, is your student ready for these captions? However, we want to ensure that all students are provided the opportunity to view captions. Just because they might not be ready for captions doesn't mean that they still won't receive a benefit from them. We just want to ensure that you don't expect that the student will fully access the information in writing via captions.
So now we want to talk to you about the captioning tools that are available within Fairfax County Public Schools. And the primary tools that we use for live sessions are Google Meet, Google Slides. There's a new tool, which is Chrome Live Captions. And beginning in the fall of 2021, we will be using Zoom. For video captions or recorded captions, our primary tools are YouTube and Flipgrid. And the thing about all of these tools is they use automated speech recognition, or ASR, and so we'll be focusing on that throughout the rest of this session. So just a note about automated speech recognition. It is fantastic, and it has come so far in the last few years. It's so much better than it used to be, which is wonderful. However, it is still not perfect, and it does not guarantee access for students who are deaf and hard of hearing. In fact, sometimes the poor caption quality actually impedes access. And so you really need to take a look at what you're using and how accurate it is if you are expecting a student to access information and be held responsible for learning that. The other idea about real-time captions is that errors cannot be corrected as you go. In YouTube, when you have recorded video, you can go in and edit those captions so you know they're accurate. Live caption through ASR cannot. It also sometimes does not include grammar, capitalization, speaker names, or other things that help make the captioning clear and understandable. So it is important to monitor your captions that you're using with your students. And just recognize that good enough may not be good enough. So surely everyone has seen examples of really good captions and then ones that are not so good. So we just wanted to throw an example in here for you to look at. And this is Amanda Gorman, who is a U.S. Youth Poet Laureate who presented at President Biden's inauguration. And you can see on the left side are the correct captions of what she actually said. And then on the right side are some less accurate captions that didn't quite hear what she said. And I'll give you just a minute to look at that. Sometimes as you're looking at these captions, the mistakes can be really funny, like they are here. But if you're in class, it may not be so great, and it also can impact learning. So it's just important to think about the accuracy and make sure that you're monitoring what's going on with your captions as you're presenting them. So we also want to give you a moment to pause and think about bad captions you may have seen, and think about how they could impact your teaching and also ways that you could mitigate that. In the interest of accurate captions, we want to give you some tips for improving caption accuracy. The first one is to speak at a normal pace, not fast and not slow, just at your normal pace and volume. You also want to speak clearly and make sure you're articulating all of the speech sounds. A lot of times we speak really quickly, we don't even realize how many sounds we've cut off because the human ear can fill that in. The computer can't, so it's important to make sure you're saying all of the sounds. It may also help to wear a headset or a microphone rather than using the computer microphone. And using these steps helps to increase access to accurate information in live sessions. It also helps reduce the amount of time you spend editing auto captions in recorded sessions.
Now that we've discussed automated speech recognition, as well as some tips for more accurate captions, let's delve into our tools. The first we'll explore is PowerPoint. I'll go ahead and walk you through that now. Step one is just opening a PowerPoint presentation. From there, I'll locate my top toolbar and glide across until I find Slideshow. I then have the option to toggle on this Always Use Subtitles and look at my preferences. You have the option to change your language as well as to choose your viewing preferences for captions to be overlaid on the bottom of your slides, overlaid on the top of your slides, below your actual slide, or above. I'm going to select below and let's test it out. As you can see, I'm using a blank PowerPoint presentation, but you could use a pre-created presentation or a template and have the same effect. PowerPoint also goes back and adds changes to any grammar or punctuation as needed. Another tool similar to PowerPoint is Google Slides, which is what we're using today. Captions are also available within this. You'll look to your bottom toolbar and toggle on the Captions or the CC button. Now, captions will be provided live as I'm speaking and talking through this presentation. You do have the option to change your settings and adjust your text position and adjust your text size. Google Slides has just recently updated their toolbar, and so now it looks like this, pictured here. You'll need to activate captions by going to this try dot option. So our new toolbar is located in the bottom left corner of your screen. I'll select the dots to open up my captioning preferences and then toggle captions on. As you can see, the size shrinks down, and now captions are provided at the top of your screen without overlapping onto your slide deck. You can also go back into captioning preferences and adjust your position. So they're at the top of my screen now, but I could alter them to the bottom, as well as my text size of my captioning. Not everyone may have received this update yet, so we wanted to provide you with both toolbar options in Google Slides so you knew how to activate captions regardless of which toolbar you have. This is a good time to pause and practice. Feel free to pause the video and try out captions in either PowerPoint or Google Slides. Rewind the directions if you need to. You can use a blank presentation if you want to, or a pre-created presentation or template. After you're done, think about how accurate were the captions? What do you need to adjust next time? Keep in mind the tips for improving captioning accuracy as you're finishing this pause and practice activity. Some of our synchronous platforms, such as Blackboard Collaborate Ultra, or known as BBCU, do not include auto-generated captions. In order to have them available, you could use Google Slides as a background window to allow constant access to captions for lessons and online learning. Take a peek at this video for more in-depth information. Another synchronous platform is Google Meet. To access live captions, click the Turn On Captions button at the bottom of your screen. Keep in mind, captions are controlled by individual users, so they can toggle them on and off dependent on their needs. Be mindful that recording a Meet session does not record captions. So if you need to do this, you'll have to use a screencasting tool. Another synchronous tool is Zoom, and although we don't currently use it in Fairfax County, we will be transitioning to this over the summer into the 2021-2022 school year. To access live captions for this platform, click the Close Captions button at the bottom of your screen. This should look very similar to the caption option in Google Meet. More to come.
So when you're using YouTube, sometimes you're going to create videos of your own, in which case you can go in and ensure the captions are accurate, or you can edit them. But you're also going to use videos that are already made. And so I want to show you how to search YouTube to find videos where the captions have already been edited for accuracy. So to do that, I'm going to escape out of my presentation for a moment. I'm going to go to YouTube. And in YouTube, I'm going to search for landforms because that's what I'm working on with my students. So I see something that says landforms for kids. I'm going to click on that. And once I get into here, you'll see a button that says filters. I'm going to open that filter menu and move to the right to where it says subtitles/CC for closed captions. When I click on that, you'll see I get a new list of videos, and each of them has this CC mark under it. That indicates that not only are there auto captions, but they're edited captions. So when you show this video to your students, it will be accurate. The other thing that I want to show you within YouTube is how to find where you edit videos. What you're going to do is once you're in YouTube, you're going to go to your account icon on the upper right and click on that. You're going to go to YouTube Studio. Each of us in Fairfax County has a YouTube account, and we can put our videos in YouTube Studio. There's lots of tutorials on how to create and upload videos, so I'm not going to do that. What I want to show you is once you're in your Creator Studio, if you go over to your menu list on the left and click Content, that will show you where all of your videos are. And then you can go ahead and open these and click this Details button and scroll to Subtitles. And when you click Subtitles, it's going to let you duplicate and edit the automatic captions that were put there. And so when I open that, I can go in, assign timings, and then I can go through my video and edit whatever might have been incorrect. And when I'm done, I can go ahead and press Publish. And once you do that, you will see you have two separate sets of captions. You have the automatic and then the edited. At the end of this presentation, in the list of resources, You'll find links that will take you to video tutorials for doing this if you need more in-depth directions. But we wanted to just give you a quick overview today. So since you've had an opportunity to see how to search for accurately captioned videos in YouTube and how to find the place where you can edit your own captions, we'd like you to pause the video, take a few minutes to practice. You can rewind this video for the directions if you want. You can scroll to the end to find the tutorials if you like, but just take a minute and practice this just to familiarize yourself. Another tool that we commonly use in Fairfax County is Flipgrid. And recently in an update, Flipgrid made captions the default. So when you go to Flipgrid and record videos, they will automatically caption with ASR. However, if you find that the videos are terribly inaccurate, you can go in and edit them. And at the end of this presentation, there is a link to find resources on how to do that. There's also a brand new sort of hot off the presses tool that we wanted to talk to you about, and that is Chrome Live Captions. And Chrome Live Captions are those that will play over top of any video inside of Chrome. So it will caption videos. It will also caption if you're doing presentations in Blackboard Collaborate Ultra, which itself doesn't have live captions. So it's a great addition to our collection of captioning tools. And I'm going to show you how to turn on your settings so that you can use this tool. Again, I'm going to go out of my presentation here. In Chrome, in the upper right corner, are these three little buttons. When you press that, you'll open your control panel, which has a choice for settings. I'm going to click Settings. And once I open that, on the left-hand side, you'll see it says Advanced. Under Advanced is Accessibility. Inside of Accessibility, you'll see Live Captions as the first option. Click that toggle on. So now that I've turned on that Live Caption button, I'm going to click back over to YouTube, and I have a landform video open. I'm going to press play, and you can see that in addition to having the captions that are in YouTube, I will also have the Chrome Live Captions.
Landforms on the Earth's surface. Come explore with me the Earth's landforms. The two largest types of landforms are continents and oceans.
So you saw within that video you had the Chrome Live Captions on, which were these overlaid on the top. When you're inside your video, you'll see up in the upper right-hand corner this little icon next to all of your Chrome extensions. If you click that, you can toggle that setting on and off. So you can do that by individual videos without having to go all the way back into your Chrome settings once you have it turned on initially. So once again, we would like you to pause the video and take a moment to find your Chrome settings. Go ahead, turn on your live captions, and then press play on this video and see if they show up. So two more resources we wanted to share with you today for finding captioned videos that are already made are the Described and Captioned Media Program, or DCMP. And this is an organization that provides families and educators with free remote learning services that include videos that are described and captioned. You do need to get a membership, but the membership is free. The other place to find videos is Learn 360. So when you go in there to find videos for your classrooms, just make sure to look to ensure that they are captioned so that they're accessible for all of the students that you're working with.